What's up, All-Inners, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast, a podcast for casual leaguers. I am the League Dad, and as always, I'm joined by the boys, Kevin, Mitchell, Alistair, and we are coming at you, the finale. This is it. Worlds is done, and we did miss last week due to some scheduling concerns, and also because we were tired, and also because there's an election going on, and so just a lot of things happening, but, we're here now, and we're ready to discuss all of that stuff, plus the drama's happening already. The spice is happening in NA with all the roster rumors, and so we're going to dig in all of that. Plus, today, as of this recording, ranked season is over, and we are about to hit preseason with the new stuff, so we'll probably touch on that too as well. But of course, let's start from the beginning. Since last time, let's talk about Worlds. Damwon Gaming, they're your champions. I think most people predicted that. I unfortunately did not pick them to win. I wanted Suning to win. I think I let my heart get into that a little bit more. But overall, it was a great. I mean, it was 3-1, but it felt a little closer than that. In some respect, right? I felt like it was, but Damwon just seemed to be really in control. I think they proved that yes, they had maybe easier competition along the way, but they're pretty damn good. And I think there'll be a team to watch for in the future. So I don't think this is, they're all super young. So give me your thoughts. What did y'all think of the Worlds? Did it turn out how you expected or better?
I think this finals was the best finals we've had in years. Honestly, the most hype, interesting, competitive finals. Some really unexpected picks and weird shenanigans happened in this series.
Yeah.
I think it was more than what we could have asked for, honestly. Considering we've had several 3-0 Snooze Fest finals, I think all the way since 2017.
Yeah.
This was a real treat. It wasn't a stomp.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, 3-1 wasn't the whole story. It was a very close 3-1.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you guys,
well,
Kevin,
first three
Alistair?
games were.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first three games were kind of what. At least they were what I expected. I expected most of the games to be fairly close, but I still thought Damwon would win because I thought they were the better team. But I think we can definitively say that Suning they were the best. They were the second best team at the tournament. We've had a lot of them where we feel like maybe this wasn't the real final. This was. They definitely were. They had to play through G2, which were B tier favorites. Then they had to play through JDG and Top Esports, who were both favorites, and then Damwon, who were the eventual winners. So it was basically all we could ask for in the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as everyone else here. I had expectations for them. They kind of showed up until game 4, which, it was a rough game, but I'm glad that both teams just played the way they did the rest of the tournament. They didn't choke in the finals, because, honestly, G2 and Fnatic in the last 2 years could have done something. They might have been able to win 1 or 2 games or maybe win the series. They just look like they weren't what they were beforehand. So we'll never know. It's hard to go back, but I'm glad that Suning came in and Damwon came in. They picked their picks. You never see that kind of stuff in the finals. You don't see they're just hey, what if we just pick
blind pick Evelyn?
Well, I guess we should just jump into game 2 because that's what we're talking about here. Seeing the Rengar, tank Rengar, to be exact.
Support Rengar.
Well, support Rengar. You're right with Knight's Vow.
God.
Who does that in a world finals?
Who else but SOFM?
Yeah. That's what I love about, I mentioned earlier in the Worlds, when we were getting into Worlds, I think it was play-ins when, we were talking about Unicorns of Love, and I loved how a team, or even Gigabytes Marine, where there's this team that always picks some weird thing or has a weird play style, and somehow it works, and it's kind of cheesy, but SOFM and, just Suning as a whole, they do this every now and then. They'll pick weird champs, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I love that man, that takes balls, if I could, just say that outright. I mean, just to even do that in a, first of all, the finals, and then to pull it off, kind of makes you, it could make you look like an idiot, but in this case, it kind of made them look ingenious about that. What'd you guys think about that Rengar pick in game 2?
I think it's really hard to say that it's optimal, but he made it look really good. Tank Rengar, Knight's Vow Rush with Cinderhulk, Lucidity Boots, freaking Spirit Visage against multiple AD champions. It was like, this is weird, man. It's like, because then you look
Conquer.
with Conqueror, like you look back at SOFM's match history, and he's like, he did the same thing on Shen, he does the same thing on Lee Sin, he does the same thing on Jarvan. He just goes Sunfire, Knight's Vow, Spirit Visage. No matter what the enemy comp is, he just makes it work. And he like, yeah, it's like, you know, he gets the extra healing off of Knight's Vow, and it's a very cheap item spike, and he just heals a lot. Like he wasn't there to deal damage, he was there to be annoying. And I think that's so funny that
It is.
he's like, I'm just gonna be annoying. That is my champion identity. That's what I'm gonna do as a jungler. Just gonna be annoying.
Be annoying. Yeah, absolutely. And it paid off. Yeah, I mean, he was 2-1-10. That's like more support type numbers, right? And of typical Rengar, you don't expect to have 10 assists. It's more like, you know, if they snowball 10 kills. But Bin was the killer in this one with this Fiora. I mean, he popped off on that game. Yeah, he just did that penta. I can't remember if they said it, but was that the first Pentakill in a finals?
Yes,
I believe it was. So that's pretty awesome to see that, you know, again, just this team always having some storylines. My biggest, I think, if I was to say, quote unquote, disappointment was that I felt like the bot lane for Suning didn't show up as much as I would have hoped. And definitely didn't see as much from Huanfeng as I wanted to. I don't know if it was nerves or what, but it just seemed like he was a little bit tentative, and you know, the guy's overcome a lot, and regardless, making it this far is pretty awesome. But what do you guys think overall of, you know, weaknesses, you know, weak players, strong players? Who do you think outperformed? Who do you think, you know, didn't perform as well? Overall takes on just the whole thing, the whole series.
I mean, truthfully, I think I disagree with you on Huanfeng.
Okay.
About his, I think, I will say both supports took their turns inting in this series for sure, but I feel like Sword Art had like 3 or 4 deaths, if not more, almost every game, and then Huanfeng was put on Jhin against 2 tanks. Like they kind of just threw him on Jhin and said, "Hey, you're good at this champion. Play this. They have all your counters, but you're good enough, right?" Yeah. That's kind of what it felt like to me. Yeah. I felt like he played well, but he couldn't carry as
well as he could, considering the circumstance with what he was given.
Exactly. The draft priority was definitely not favored for Huanfeng. They first rotationed Ezreal or Jhin for him, and then they saved counter picks for jungle and top lane. So, yeah.
Okay, Kevin, do you have anything to add regarding the players' performances?
Quick slight tangent. I owe a win to SOFM. Played some rank flex. Someone did that build. I absolutely bodied their Rengar. It was like, I'm like, what are you doing? And it's all thank you SOFM for misleading people.
So but, somebody you played against played this build with Rengar. Who were you playing?
Hell yeah.
I smashed him on, it was either my Evelyn or it was...
Ooh, the exact
I was playing Lilia. I just literally walked into his jungle and like destroyed him. Like he wasn't even done clearing. He's like, I'm still committing to this build. I'm like...
Shout out.
Anyone to simp for on the map, but all right, man. You do you.
That's so true.
So that was nice, but that was one of the most epic games of jungle I've seen in a while where like an off-meta build actually like... mattered, I guess. Like that 2v2 where Huanfeng and SOFM were like dueling I forgot which 2 Dama members in at Dragon. I was like, what is this? It's like, is that actually good?
To say about that fight.
Yeah, it was the Ornn in the Graves. He like actually dropped to like 15% HP and one was like at 70% HP at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Like I still don't know if Tank Rengar is good. Like even despite seeing that whole game, but it's hilarious.
It is pretty fun to watch.
That one was just like, what in God's name?
Yeah.
Anyways, about that series, I'm happy with the games. I think it was just one of the most exciting series. Like, sure, it was quote unquote only a 3-1, but the first 3 games it could have gone either way for most of the games. I think Suning almost won game 3. That was like
And
But
game
they
one.
also inted a game 3 that they shouldn't have been able to in the early game. And by inted I mean Dawn just played better. Like Dawn played every early game better.
Yeah, they played really
Every
good.
game.
Hmm.
So the fact that Sunny
Yeah.
could come back, like there was always this feeling in the back, you're like, well, what are they gonna do to make this a close game?
Yeah.
I had a great time. I think that Dawn deserves to win that. Like there's no asterisks. Like I don't think Top Esports or JDG in their current form could have
Yeah.
done better. They may have looked
Mhm.
different, but they wouldn't have gotten to game 5 or won the series.
Well,
The way Dawn was playing.
this is what's crazy too, is that they're all still freaking young too. Like that, like that's what is awesome. Like, will this be the next SKT or the next dynasty or whatever? And I think it brings in the question again. Obviously, Korea wins this Worlds, and
Yeah.
the conversation must come up again: who's the better region? And maybe it's not such a discussion. I think maybe overall, maybe as a whole or as a strength in region overall, maybe LPL is still stronger. I mean, they have sent 3 different representatives each year to the finals. I mean, they're really darn good. But obviously Korea wins the actual championship this round. So maybe Korea has the best team. But what do you guys think? Best region overall? Do you still agree that it's China? Second best region? Do you think it's Korea now, or what? What are you guys thinking here?
I think it's a really complicated question because like you have to look more into like what made each team good. Like
Yeah.
the LPL teams very clearly lacked a macro this tournament. Like I really felt like Suning and Donwon, like if we're comparing specifically, Donwon just had ridiculously better macro. Like it wasn't even close. But Suning, in many instances, even in the games that they were down in like Dragon Soul, were better in skirmishes and team fights. So it's like, what are we better in it at? And it's hard to say that Damwon specifically had better macro, but LPL teams still have better micro, like better team fighting, better mechanics, weirder champion pools. So it's like a really nuanced question. Like, I do think maybe LPL is still better, but I mean, I would still take Korean macro over LPL macro, no matter how big the difference in mechanics are. So
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
Makes sense. Okay. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't really like the idea of the best region, because if you look at Europe, for example, right? There's G2 and Fnatic, and there's everyone else. So you can't really say, oh, Europe's so much better because of those 2 teams, when they
Mhm.
kind of have 8 teams who aren't very good.
Yeah.
Right? They had Mad Lions, who were the first major region team to not make it out of play-ins, and they had Rogue, who also got 4th place.
Yep.
Obviously, we had TSM as well, but there's
Korea's the same. They only got one team that really
Exactly.
did anything. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I feel like if you had to give an answer, it'd probably have to be LPL. But I feel like it's more who is the best team is a more important question than a better region.
Yeah.
Because if you also look at it, everywhere imports from Korea. So
It's true. So who's really the yeah?
It's really
Exactly.
Who breeds the better players? Maybe is yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean that makes sense. Kevin, do you have an answer, or at least a weighted, educated, somewhat guess? what you think the best region is?
I mean, I'm similar to Alistair and Mitch in the sense that like it is more important what the best team is, because there were literally years where LPL won with like IG won 2018, where everyone else like pretty much bombed in quarterfinals or earlier, right?
Yeah.
But LPL looked good that year because IG just shit stomped through semifinals and finals. Obviously Damwon's the best team, but like with how horrific the other 2 Korean teams played in their top 2nd and 3rd, and then how
Yeah.
bad the 4th place team and allegedly SKT, I guess you would guess here, played,
Mhm.
like you can't really give LCK the first play crown just yet. They've always had the best players, but I actually do think that even if they still are like being exported elsewhere or imported into elsewhere,
Mhm.
you can still say the region is worse, because like you have all this talent. If you're not using it right, then that's kind of your problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Like if an LPL team with 3 Chinese players and 2 Koreans beats a Korean team with 5 Korean players, that's some interesting math.
Yeah.
I will say the gap is smaller than last year. I think only just because the top team was this much stronger this time around. Like Damwon was a threat. Last year SKT was strong, but like they had already proven to lose to G2 multiple times at MSI beforehand. So it's not like they came in as like, holy cow, what is the power of SKT? Like we kind of knew they were good, and we were like, we're kind of scared of them, but they lost twice to G2 in a row at two different best of fives. So like,
Yeah.
right.
Good point.
So I think the LPL is still strong because they still had teams that like showed up. Their third place team got to finals and gave the first place team a run for money.
Yeah.
And the third place team did knock out the first and second place team. We'll never know how they perform elsewhere, but I mean, all facts point that they would have been worse. But you don't know, right? Because it's stylistically matching up. Like, would Jackie Love Eam Ford take Ghost out of his game?
Yeah.
I hope not. But you know, it's a lot of factors. I would say the LPL is better, but at least it's competitive now. It's like a LPL would be like a 1.25 instead of first place, and then LCK would be like a 1.75 or 1.5 now instead of 1 and 4 or 3, whatever you memed the LCK about before Worlds.
I mean, that's
I do
good.
think LEC is the biggest loser here.
Yeah.
Oddly, because I mean, NA never mattered in this ranking.
Of course.
LEC was definitively second, and they were just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Besides G2, like, I'm sorry, Fnatic did a good job of making it close, but it was like close despite the best efforts of top esports to lose that series.
Yeah.
They had really good strategy, but like it just looked like they were the worst team despite having worse macro on top and like just awful drafting the first two games. Top was just like, we're just better players somehow.
Yeah.
And that was the second best team for Europe. We didn't make it out of play-ins, and then Rogue got smacked. Like if TSM didn't exist, Rogue would be a meme.
Yeah.
Well, something that you mentioned that I mentioned that I think we're all just like, we know for a fact that LPL has the best players. It's just their macro is so poor.
Mhm.
Like, it really does feel like FPX had better macro last year. I feel
True.
like. But
They
for some
did,
reason,
yeah.
coming in this year, it's like all three LPL teams had really crappy macro.
Yeah.
Like, if we do want to talk about more specifically about other games for Suning and Danwon, like I want to, is the Shen game, right?
Yeah.
So Suning had Shen, and they had the Wukong in the top lane, and it really felt like, you know, Damwon, they got Soul, okay? And it was like, okay, first game's over. And then Suning aced them and got Baron. And it was like, okay, you know, Damwon can win this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you look at the game state, and it's like Damwon Gaming have Baron, they have like a Wukong who's very, very strong, and a Shen who can split push. And then they have Azir and Ezreal who can just like completely clear waves and kite and not get engaged on. It was looking like a for sure Suning win. You just split push. They have an Orin in the side lane, right? He can't do anything. You should be able to win the game from here. And they just decide to 5v5 team fight and lose the Elder. And it's like, that is some horrible macro, guys. Like, and they make it work sometimes with better mechanics. Like they're still winning some team. They did get one of the Elder Dragons winning team fights to still almost win the game. But it's like they have split push comps and they team fight. They have, like maybe they should be flanking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just run at you anyways and team fight. And I don't know, man. Like they're so good.
So here's what they need to do then.
But
they need to import. They need a Korean coach.
Yep, there you go. They need a Korean coach.
Stop importing the Korean players. Start importing the Korean coaches, analysts, whatever it is, and maybe get some of that. Yeah, get that macro going. I mean, the debate is out there. I'm just glad that I think that mentioning the gap closing in. Obviously, I still think, in my opinion, China and Korea have always been the top two powerhouses with, I would say LEC, but to me, it's really just G2 and Fnatic that have always kind of been there. But it is kind of cool that, it doesn't seem like such a, an expectation already. Like there's always a chance for something like that. Obviously I didn't mention NA. We still got a long ways to go, but
that's not in the conversation.
Yeah, they're not even in the conversation.
Don't bother.
I will say the last thing I want to talk about just real quickly is I thought that it was cool that there was at least an audience in the finals. So, when they win, they can say, even though Korea won in front of a Chinese crowd, still it was great to have some energy there. And, they deserve it. I feel bad sometimes when, can you imagine winning this? This is the tournament of all tournaments every year, and you win, and then there's really there's nobody there. There's no energy. So either way, even if it wasn't technically their quote unquote home crowd, I'm glad that they had something. They were able to feel that energy, kind of take a bow in front of everybody. And
I would have killed to be there, man.
Yeah.
Oh God, I would have loved to be there.
It was really cool.
Watching those first 3 games live would have just been the best.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, now that it's over, we can get to the good stuff because now begins NA's quest to get out of group stage for 2021, right? And it all begins with the rumors and the roster moves. Last time we talked about Bjergsen retiring, that was kind of the big thing. I think this next big thing really would be this idea of caps, right? I mean, not caps, I'm sorry, Perkz. And, although we're not LEC, the fact is that there are rumors that he may be coming over to our side of the pond. And, whereas I thought that wasn't really a possibility, I thought he was just joking. It seems that more and more, those might actually be, valid discussions because it seems like he's talking to a few teams, with C9 being the team that he's most interested in. What do you guys think about Perkz joining Cloud9? That'd be pretty insane in my book.
He's better than
I don't want to see
Nisqy.
it.
He's way better than Nisqy. He would easily be the best mid laner in the league by a long shot. It's not even close.
Even if he hasn't played it in a while? He did play it like a couple splits ago.
He plays in solo queue. He
Yeah.
played
Played it one
in solo
split
queue.
ago.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
He played
okay.
one split ago this spring, and I don't even care. Like, to say Perkz is not going to be the best mid laner is just dumb. Like, he's clearly so talented compared to every other mid laner in the region. He's just always shows up internationally and domestically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think he's going to come in and be the best mid laner.
And
Hands
that's just
down.
not even counting his mechanics. Like mechanics alone, he would be the best, or at least extremely close to Jensen, depending on his form right now. But his shot calling and leadership that has been proven, he's a championship winner. It's not a coincidence that every team he's been on has just been good. He took Hjarn and Wadid to semis. That is a Herculean task that may never be replicated. Every time Bjergsen had to carry his team, he couldn't. But Perkz was just I'm in a group with G2 and Sansa, I'll get out. Or Gen.G or whatever. So I have full faith that if he joins C9, RNG, sorry. If he's in C9 and they keep the roster that they have, they lose Licorice too.
They lose Licorice too.
But he would make, honestly, that's a kingmaker move. Him and Blabber would be crazy. Because then Blabber just doesn't need to think anymore. Jankos was a wild monster kind of jungler before he would join G2 with Perkz, and now he's considered one
And
of
he'd
the best.
reunite with Sven again. So
I don't know if he cares about that, but yes, he would, and that has been
maybe it
proven
would
to work.
up it would up Sven's game because Sven seems to.
It will in the sense that he doesn't have as much pressure on him.
Yeah.
Sven doesn't need to be the
definitely
super
think so.
carry.
Yeah, I definitely think. Go ahead.
I just think it could be hilarious if Perkz joins C9 and they don't make it to Worlds. Sven timeline.
Sven.
Too
That
good.
would be rough.
It'd be too good.
I do think that something the old C9 suffered from was just the lack of a confident shot caller. I think TSM suffers from the same exact thing. There's not one confident dude that knows exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
I'm not going to trust, Licorice was playing bad, Nisqy was playing bad, Blabber, is a loose cannon. I really felt like that last C9 team, they didn't have a guy who was hey, we're kind of struggling, I'm going to pull us all together and, throw everything on the table and be we're getting this done. Perkz is that guy, and he's yo, stupid, come over here and ward for me, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Perkz is going to be that guy. I'm hyped.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, Alistair, I heard you say you didn't want to see it. Why is that?
I don't want to see more. I don't want to see imports that don't need to happen. I would rather see Palafox start in C9.
Okay.
This is a different case than importing
This is not-
Alfari,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
This is Perkz
I
that
know,
we're talking
but
about.
I know, but how many times have we said this though? Oh, Bang.
0.
Oh well, he's useless.
No.
Crown. Like,
Bang
we see
was
all
at the
these
bottom of
players.
his
We
career.
have hopes for them, and then they're here to cash out.
No.
I'm not saying
Bang and
Perks is
Crown are
gonna
at the
do
bottom
that,
of the
but-
career. Perks is actually at the top of his career right now.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of what we were talking about in previous podcasts, where we take like losers who are like, Bang is looking like shit on SKT. He didn't make it to Worlds. Then he comes to NA.
Yeah.
You know, Crown didn't make it to Worlds also, or knocked out in groups and comes to NA. This is literally Perks, who just won twice in a row.
I get
Semifinals.
that, right? But at the same time, Perks isn't coming to NA to win Worlds.
No, you don't know that.
I don't know. That's
That's
an interesting statement.
Don't even try.
No, because no, I mean, Alistair makes a valid point. If you're trying to upgrade, level up in Worlds, you don't come to NA. Like that's kind of counterclockwise there. But you do
Call
come
the
to
retirement region for a
you
reason.
come to
Yeah,
NA
no,
if
no.
you're trying to get paid. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
And
true.
he's trying to get paid. I mean, apparently the buyout is worth something around $5 million.
He
It's
doesn't
a-
get that though.
I know, but it's still a pretty penny. The org still has to pay that, right? And so that's what's crazy is that people would be willing or considering somewhere upward towards that amount to get him. And I don't know. Cloud9 to me seems like an odd fit though, because they usually seem to be the one more on the frugal end, right? And so it just seems weird that they would spend this seems more like what Liquid would have done, right? Like Liquid get that high dollar player and get it. And honestly, I'm frankly just super surprised that he's considering NA in the first place, because I think for sure I thought he would have ended up in Fnatic, but again, it's not really up to him. He's still under contract, so it's up to the org.
That's the big important thing to note, is that it's not up to him.
That's right,
It's up to Ocelot. It's up to Carlos. So if Carlos wants to sell Perks for $5 million, he gets to sell Perks for $5 million.
Money.
Yeah. So obviously Perks and Carlos are like friends. So Carlos is like, Perks is like, yo, I'm not trying to go to some shitter I don't know, Golden Guard. Oh no, maybe Golden Guards would be fine. But you know what I mean? Like he's not trying to go to Immortals, right?
Yeah.
And Carlos is like, okay, we've been together for a long time. I'm not going to send you to Immortals to die. But Perks doesn't really get a choice in this, which is also the interesting thing. Like this money is being traded by people above him. So whatever happens to him, it's kind of like, I mean, it's different for Alfari. Alfari is a free agent. He talked to Team Liquid and he gets to make the choice himself. So I don't know. I wouldn't place as much blame on the situation on Perks if he does come to NA and let's say he does do poorly. It would suck, but maybe he's depressed because he got forced to go to NA when he didn't want to, right?
Yeah.
That could totally be a thing. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, apparently
I
this.
wouldn't be surprised.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if he came to NA for the rest of his contract and was a free agent, went back to Europe. That wouldn't
It's
surprise
a possibility. It's a possibility.
It's Cloud9 would never sign that contract. They
Yeah.
wouldn't pay $5 million to own
Not
him
just
for a
from-
year.
yeah.
They would re-sign.
Yeah.
They would make another contract with him. So
That's true.
that's why it's complicated. We don't know it's still
It
happening
is.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Just a
pretty
rumor.
it's pretty for sure that he's leaving G2. That's when I read Jacob Wolf's tweets and comments and I watched Travis's video on it, he's almost definitely leaving G2. It's just a matter of if he's going to Vitality or something.
Well,
he's
I did
staying in
see
EU.
on Reddit too that maybe the friendship between him and Ocelot aren't so great after all. He talked apparently in his stream, Perks talked about an analogy about wolves and sheeps, and kind of, long story short, it was kind of like they were friends, but somebody got a little greedy, et cetera, and he basically was saying, and so to speak, and what people are taking from it is that Ocelot's the wolf, Carlos is the wolf, and Perks is the sheep, and kind of maybe him hinting that all is maybe not, or maybe there's a little falling out there, but who knows? That's speculation. It's always, just more interesting when there's a little bit of drama going on behind the scenes. But regardless, I think that would be pretty neat. I mean, I think it's just a matter of where now. I mean, like you said, it seems almost for certain that he's going to be gone from G2. So that's going to be exciting. Another big news, which I think it's confirmed. I see it on Reddit. You sent the thing out in Discord, but apparently it seems like Power of Evil will be TSM's new mid laner. What? I mean, sources say that he has contacted them and said that he will sign with them as their new mid laner when free agency opens up. Wow. I mean, to me, that just seems, first of all, I don't like it. I think in this case, we talked about this. If you're replacing Bjergsen, it's got to be a mid laner who's like Perks, right? If it was Perks, okay, I could see that. Or a rookie. PoE's good, but he's not a Perks, right? He's not a superstar caliber kind of player that, everybody's looking for, because you're replacing a legend in Bjergsen. And so I don't know about this move. Also, it's kind of weird how there's always been this kind of like Kryptonite Superman analogy where, Power of Evil was always the Kryptonite to Bjergsen, and how that rivalry kind of has always existed. And so now it'll be Bjergsen coaching PoE, if this is true. But what do you guys think? If this happens, I mean, it seems like that this might be the case. It's Jacob Wolf's status, so we all know that he's pretty good with his reporting. So what do you guys think? PoE, TSM PoE.
Let you guys go first.
I will say that just without having done any more research into the validity of it all, it's probably the best replacement they could find that's currently in NA that they know they can get, knowing the COVID situation. Like, if you want guaranteed performance, PoE was the best side grade replacement to Bjergsen. They should have gone with NA talent. I think this was the time for it, now that they have Bjergsen as a coach, but they didn't. So this is the safe bet, and I'm not surprised. It's a TSM move to do. They don't have a very good history. No, that's not true. They have a mixed history with new talent. Like, Spica did well. It just took a while. But some of the other talents has gone up and down,
Mhm.
I'm more curious with the PoE move. That means that's another import there. I believe PoE is still an import.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
So what are they gonna do with their roster? Because if you get rid of Double or bench him, which was a rumor, does that mean they're gonna use NA talent elsewhere?
I don't know.
So who?
We'll find out. Yeah, that's the question.
I mean, there's also rumors about top lane, but these
Broken
are
Blade
just
is gone.
rumors. Yeah, as rumors of them
Impact.
possibly. I've heard Impact. I've also heard possibly someday if he can become a resident. I don't know how much longer.
You have to, no, you can't.
Okay.
He can't be grandfather then, because he came after, I believe.
Gotcha.
So if
Okay.
if you're an import and you come to NA, you have to become an American citizen to become a resident. So you can't.
Okay.
You got to get a green card. Which, if I'm pretty sure the U.S. has been under Donald Trump, and they're not giving
Yeah.
green cards out willy nilly.
Yeah.
It might
Okay.
change because of Biden, but we'll never know.
I mean, and you also have Licorice out in the market too. So there's a lot of capable, it seems like top laners that could be a potential. But because Broken Blade is an import, so if they wanted to replace him with native, there does seem to be a couple of options there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what they would do, regarding the import slot, because PoE is seemingly likely coming to TSM. But what else did you have to say, Kevin? Do you think it's performance wise, do you think it's just something to cover their tails to get through this next split, and then maybe look for something bigger in the future?
I think that performance-wise, it's I suspect they're gonna be, if they're actually gonna shake up their bot lane, that this is we need an anchor piece. We need a guy who we know performs. We know Spica's looking pretty hot. We'll put Spica. We'll build this team around Spica and PoE. And in my mind, if I were their GM, which I'm not, they would probably have everyone else up in the air, especially Bio and maybe Broken Blade if you can find
Yeah.
NA talent for him as well, right? I really don't think this is not a controversial move. This is taking, not only is it taking a safe option, it's also taking one of your biggest historical competitors off the table. PoE has been griefing Bjergsen for a very long time, and yeah, obviously he still has a losing record, but you have to look at the strength of the teams he was on. He was on Unicorns of Love and some pretty meme rosters. Some of the Unicorn of Love rosters were good, but Kika's jungle with TF was not the peak European jungling talent back
I
then.
got cheesed so hard.
Yeah. So it's just it's not a bad move because it's weakening your opponents too. FlyQuest is doomed.
Yeah, FlyQuest is over.
Especially if they lose Santorin, assuming all the rumors are true. If they lose Santorin and PoE, it's over.
It's done.
It's over.
There's no proven talent they can pick. Obviously, it's not over in the sense that if they had good academy people, they might be able to come back, and they've shown the propensity to get second twice. But like, it's over on paper as far as we know. So I think this is a fine move. This is not as bad as like the last split. Which I'm
Dardoch and
just
Kabi.
like, yeah, all the stuff they did with Kabi and Dardoch, yeah, that was pretty
Yeesh.
it's questionable, right? Like
Yeah, they lost
I
to
wanted to give them the
FlyQuest.
benefit of the doubt, but I think PoE is a different beast. Like Kabi's been around for a while, and PoE
Yeah.
has been around for a while. PoE has performed at a much higher level.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
made CLG relevant for a year.
True.
We got third place, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, we actually thought CLG would be good this year. They ruined my predictions for the first
Yeah.
split.
They
Yeah.
actually tricked us. PoE carried that team from 10th to 3rd. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be careful counting out FlyQuest. What happens if you get FlyQuest Chovy?
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
god.
Do
No,
you
that's
think-
actually a rumor.
The
Really?
amount of trees they
He's-
would have to sacrifice for
free agent.
Chovy. Yeah,
He's a
Chovy is
free agent?
Would
And
Chovy
he-
come to NA retirement home? I don't know.
Last year, Chovy got offered a blank check by EG, and CV Max went to Chovy's mom's house, told him to stay in Korea, and they were gonna win Worlds on DRX. And then Dan1 happened, but they were undisputed first place in Summer Split for the first like half of the split. It was working. It was looking good for Chovy,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. Their whole team imploded.
You know, a player who's never been on a team that's been like the super cash team, or like he's basically a superstar player that has never actually gotten the chance to actually pop off, and I think it's probably time that he gets like, you know, some of the payoff for being a huge talent. Because if he doesn't get paid that big money, I mean, why not come to NA for a split or two? He's already seen like way worse talent than him come here and do pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like
I
what's
don't
the
think I don't want him to come in the sense that like he deserves better, but I mean, there is no shame in just getting your value as a player for a year. And then
Mm.
I
seeing where you
completely
go.
agree. When it's like a blank check, man, like take the money, dude. Like, someone made this comparison. I think it was on Hotline League, and it was like, what are you gonna look back on when you're old and gray and 30, 40 years from now, right? Are you gonna be like, hey, I made it to semifinals at Worlds versus not making out of groups at Worlds, which is like, you know, pretty much Chovy, right?
Yeah.
Like, or he hasn't even made it past quarterfinals. Made it to quarterfinals of Worlds, won LCK versus not making out of groups on an NA team. But you have an extra $1 million in the bank, 300,000 in the bank, 500,000 in the bank. So I don't know. It's a good reason. Like, if you're an individual human being and you come to retire to NA for a lot of money, that's completely respectable by book.
Yeah.
So.
You don't blame the player. You blame the infrastructure of the league.
Yeah.
Can't blame the player for going towards the money.
Yep.
Plus, it gives
Totally
us
agree.
something more to cheer for. I mean, and also gives us another glimpse of
Whoa,
hope.
You're stepping a little too far here.
No. I mean, like, they always do this to us. They give us some, like, really good player or something like that. And now we're like, this is it. This is what we're going to make it out. We're going to be better. And then things happen. Like, the NA
Now we
just
got
makes that.
DRX bamboozle, and he just won the world
NA
championship.
just makes that player, like, all the worse. So, I mean, again, I know it's Debbie Downer to say that, but it is what it is, man. And I don't
mean,
know.
We haven't gotten a so my pushback on that is we haven't gotten a prime player in a very long time.
Yeah.
The only prime player we gotten from Korea or Europe was Core JJ, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you could argue
No.
because he had just
No.
come out.
Core JJ was at the bottom of his career. He just got knocked out of groups after being the reigning world champion.
Well,
Yeah, went
actually,
0-6
that's
in
true.
groups.
That's true. I thought he came in 2018. I thought he came in 2018. He came in 2019.
2019.
Okay, so we still haven't gotten a prime player just like right off of a huge performance yet.
Nope.
Like Bane was like also after Korea had fallen off and SKT didn't like do anything, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's when he came over. When have we gotten a player who's like, I saw him literally a month ago pop the hell off, and now he's in NA. I can't remember, and I might just be blanking on an obvious example, but
It's true. Yeah.
like we had Kabi who got to quarterfinals. Like
maybe
I
Nah.
someday. Maybe someday.
didn't. I mean,
he was like, I mean, someday is just unfortunate, right? Because he was on Elo Hell in Korea too. Always the best top laner, not making it to Worlds, and now he's doing the same thing in NA.
Well, I mean, I think the reason we haven't gotten so many of those players in NA has just been the reason that China can now match or beat the money, and there's a chance that they actually do something in their career.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
only do they have the money, but that's a good region to be in, right? Because we talked
Exactly.
about it before. You bring Chovy over here. I'd hate to say that we make him worse, but think about the solo queue environment here. Think about like what he's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like,
we
so
make it worse.
it make him worse because even Perks, like if he comes here, like just the competition around you, it's gonna degrade your play, and so again, that might be another reason why people don't want to come to NA, even if the money might be good. China can definitely match that. Plus, they have a great competitive environment. If you're still looking to really make a push into possibly winning Worlds, I mean, that's the place to go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, like I said, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a screenshot that was posted. Apparently Lena had said something about how it's hard for TSM to get talent because of COVID and all these visa restrictions and all of this stuff. But then apparently somebody had, I think it was an assistant on, I want to say Immortals. Yeah, and they had said something like it wasn't because of that. It's because they've burned so many bridges. Nobody wants to play on TSM, and it's coming back to bite them. And then it caused this whole stir. And then a veteran came out and he basically said, no, I know a lot of pros who, like, whenever they talk about NA, it's these three teams, like C9, Team Liquid, and, TSM. But whatever the case, like, I mean, do you think that could be a possibility? Because like I said, like, they got Power of Evil. Not the best pickup they could have gotten, but... like maybe.
Why are you so down on Power of Evil, League Dad? He's pretty freaking good.
No,
for NA standards.
For NA standards, yes, but what I'm talking about, like if he went to any other team, automatic upgrade. Even TSM probably be an upgrade. But what I mean is that like the expectation of someone like a franchise player, Bjergsen, leaving. That's why I mentioned, like, for TSM fans like myself to be kind of satisfied or appeased with that big hole to fill. And I think in our book, it would have had to been a superstar at that kind of level, like a Perks, for us to be like, okay, that doesn't make it so bad. Or a rookie who there's no expectation. But you get somebody like PoE who's probably a side grade. I mean, this year, Bjergsen was maybe better. I don't know. Maybe you're not. But I mean, again, I just don't know if that expectation is going to be filled. And again, it also puts a lot of pressure on PoE. So it's not necessarily that like PoE is a bad player. I think he's good, but as a fan, I don't think that's going to satisfy the fan itch of like that hole that Bjergsen is leaving. Like I don't think this is going to fill it.
I want to give you some hope as a TSM fan because I think something that we've been seeing from TSM for a while now is it not really living up to the team solo mid like legacy, right? Where we're really playing away from hard carry Bjergsen a lot.
Sure.
Like, yeah, he does it on the Azir and the Akali and the Aurelia sometimes, but he's playing a lot of Zilean, he's playing a lot of set mid, he's roaming up top lane and giving resources to people. Power of Evil is going to be TSM. Like, he's going to be, put me in Orianna, put me in Azir, put me on Corki, give me all the resources,
Okay, I like that. I like that. You know what? I like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Every single team he's on.
Back in Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, well, look, I mean,
his
that's
identity.
that's kind of like how it was, right? Bjergsen kind of was the carrier, kind of was the guy, right? But ever since then, like whether it's the mechanical skills or whatever, being more supportive, wanting to play for the team. How long have we been saying, like, please just let this man carry, just give him the tools to carry? And we'd see it every now and then, but it does seem like the direction they kept trying to move was this more supportive, like, style mid laner, and it just didn't seem to work for me. It wasn't exciting. It felt like you were underutilizing Bjergsen's talent. You've convinced me that I am now excited to see if they actually let PoE just be PoE and say, give me the resources, let me carry, y'all support me, and maybe him and Spica can kind of get something going there together.
Also, we have to know that Bjergsen is the coach now, right?
Yep.
So if they're looking at Power of Evil, it's because Bjergsen is like, yo, I want this guy. Like this guy is pretty freaking good. I've played against him. He's beaten me a couple times. Like he's taking me he's taken away my chances at finals multiple times now.
Yeah.
He almost beat me in the finals in summer. We went to 5 games. It's like there's some respect. I mean, I'm the resident FlyQuest fan, right? They just got imploded. I got to change teams, so. I mean, am I a TSM fan now? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Hey, man, we always want more people, you know. But let's go on to really quickly because this just confirmed as well. 100 Thieves, Cody Sun is no more. You know, there's a lot of possibilities maybe here. Maybe Sneaky. I don't know. Maybe I heard there's rumors Johnson may be going there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's another interesting hole there for 100 Thieves to fill.
100 Thieves Licorice is a rumor too.
Yeah.
I know Licorice was going to go on a lot of different teams. He had a 1.7 million something contract that a lot of people were interested in, but both Golden Guardians and FlyQuest dropped it.
Yeah, dropped. Yeah.
They couldn't fit it in their budget, so it's looking like 100 Thieves or maybe TSM Licorice.
Yeah, but that would be weird though because some days on 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Would you want to replace someday? I mean,
no, but maybe that's because there's other dominoes like TSM someday or
True.
Cloud9. No, not Cloud9 someday because they have Fudge. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
These are all those dominoes. Because I do think like, what if Perks doesn't go to Cloud9? Right. Let's just talk about this imaginary world. It's a $5 million buyout, and then it's whatever Perks' contract is, right? Maybe that's another $3 million. $8 million for Cloud9 to drop. What if they can't make the money? Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Then maybe TSM's like, we'll drop the $8 million, and they get Perks. And then it's like maybe Power Evil goes to Cloud9.
That's
you know,
true.
there's all these.
I mean, because
dominoes.
technically it just said that PoE's intention is to sign on free agency window, but there's still a lot of time between now and November 16th. It's the 10th as of this recording. So, hey, maybe something happens here and Perks is like, you know, Reggie's like, yo, Perks, come on, man. Come over here.
Million.
We'll treat you like a king. You saw how we treated Bjergsen, right? You want some of that ownership? What's up?
You forced him to play Zillion.
Yeah, I mean, look, nothing would make me happier. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, it's a man can dream, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think there's so many possibilities, and you know, as we move closer, especially towards the 16th, I think that's when things are really going to spice up. Right now, we're just kind of looking at, you know, the hearsay, what's kind of seems plausible and doable, and so we'll have to wait for confirmation. This is all speculation. Is there any other rumors you wanted to address or any possible moves that you've seen that you guys want to bring up, or did I hit all the major ones that you guys were thinking of?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's
all right. Well, today also, as of this recording, ranked season is over and preseason starts tomorrow. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts. First of all, did you guys accomplish your goals in ranked this season? I'll start with myself, and I'm going to say that's a big hell no. Okay? I got ambitious, went on like a 20-game losing streak, and let's just say I barely held on to the rank that I was at. But you know what? I should have known not to procrastinate. Oh, God, why you got to tell people, Alistair? Why you got to tell, man? Look, man, I had to resort to the lowest of lows to try to win. But look, it didn't really happen. And I should have known better than to try to grind rank at the end of the season when everybody is playing and everybody's inting. Oh my gosh, yes. It just was pretty crazy. But how'd you guys do finish out your rank season? You guys happy? Didn't play?
Well, tell us a story. Someone.
I managed to resist for the first time since season 2 playing ranked. I've been diamond every season since season 3, and I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. There's literally no point in trying to hit anything between. If I don't hit masters, getting diamond 4 or diamond 1 is to me the same at this juncture.
Yeah.
So I just gave up on it this season. Although, with that being said, hearing about the rumors, and I think it's true now that we don't have promos next season.
Yeah.
Correct.
I might get into
you
it.
You don't have promos between divisions.
Between divisions, but between
you'll still have
gold
it from
to
like
plat
to diamond.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that
that's
too.
the only stepping stone I have to get through. It feels like I'm doing something. If I have to do it for every little thing, it's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
It's like I played TFT to diamond really easily because I was just like, you know, this is fun. I enjoy just climbing up, and if I drop I'll get back. But I hated that arbitrary best of 3 every time.
Oh,
It just like felt cursed, and I think it was in my head probably. But
Yeah.
I didn't play ranked this season. I saw a lot of insane like feats of. Frankly, some people were on a spectrum. I watched T1 a little bit.
Yeah.
He,
He's exactly what I was thinking of.
Homeboy is built differently, and I wish this was just a meme. I legitimately cannot comprehend. Like, I play Cho'Gath a lot, and my friends are like, "Is he okay?" I'm like, "He's not okay."
My
That's
gosh.
so
Never
boring.
been okay.
He's never
It's
been
so
okay.
boring.
I mean, respect for that grind. My gosh, he was playing like 18
yeah.
hours a day.
I
Is
think
that
he needs
respect?
to. Put some respect on
Okay,
him. But
no,
also, like,
not respect. More of like amazement and kind of like, oh my gosh.
awe and a little bit
Yeah.
of fear / concern. I mean, like,
Definitely concerned.
Well,
as
look.
an entertainer, I definitely like. There's
Okay, but
value
he's
there.
getting paid for it. It's not like, you know,
No. I'm
that's his
just worried
job.
about him mentally. Like, there's
Yeah.
this reveals some. This is like peering into the
I've been worried
abyss.
about him mentally since 2016. Kevin.
Well, I think that's
I think
always
yeah,
been
I
a,
wait
don't
on
watch
that
Twitch
train.
streamers that much anymore, so like
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
he
don't
was probably
either,
until I
but-
watched.
I
Oh,
I
God.
think it's just funny how there was one Reddit post one day where it's like, wow, you went like 22-1 or something and went all
Yeah.
the way to master tier. And then there's another Reddit post the next day he drops all the way down to D2.
yeah.
All in like single 22, 25 hour like nonstop
My
play.
thing is,
And I'm just
why didn't he just stop? Like once he got
because
to.
he can't, man. He's crazy.
Or play on a different account, because like apparently he was when he dropped back down to Diamond 2, he wouldn't have had time to get back up. So he was
Yeah,
he ended like somewhere Diamond 2 or something like that. And,
I just can't. I think the worst part is he just played Cho'Gath top the entire time.
oh god,
That just sounds so painfully boring.
oh my god.
I mean, do you not remember that clip of him after 8:14 where he's complaining about everything? He can't play the game. He can't stop because he's addicted.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Oh man. Well, that's
it's so
always
funny.
fun. So, hey,
Why
if
Cho'Gath,
you guys feel bad about your climb, then just look at Tyler 1 and at least hopefully that'll make you feel a little bit better about yourself, even if you didn't
Don't
accomplish.
look at Tyler Wood.
the goals.
All viewers, please do not watch.
No.
Tyler
Let me
Wood. He will
clarify.
corrupt your mind.
Yeah, let me clarify. Don't copy what he does or whatever, but you know, just know that he played for 18 hours straight for I don't know how many days, and he ended up negative in his climb. So, look, you just got to play smart. It's not necessarily you got to play a lot of games, but it's not just the sheer quantity. It's playing quality games as you're doing it. But
Someone needed to intervene for that man. I'm
yeah,
just
poor
saying,
guy.
that's-
My
Where's
goodness.
his girlfriend? His girlfriend should be like, you should stop. You're gonna kill
He
yourself.
was like, I'm not talking to
I
you
think she
for.
would have to hold him at gunpoint.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
At
need
that
to
point, it's a
stop.
coin flip if it works or not.
All right. Well, let's briefly talk about preseason here. I know some of you guys, Mitchell, I know for sure you've been playing on PBE a little bit. I have not
ton of
touched it.
PBE.
I've only watched some videos, but I'm really excited to see some of these mythic items, just some of the new items in general and items that are changed. Obviously, there's going to be some learning curve, but look, man, this happens almost every season. You got to learn something new, and it's cool. Keeps the game fresh. So I'm more like I'm just anxious. I just want to get in and start playing. So probably tomorrow. I think we all mentioned it. We'll be playing all day or a good amount of the day just to get used to it. But give me some of your thoughts so far on what you've seen. You know, what you like, dislike, what might be a potential problem if you see a potential meta breaking out here just because of the new stuff. But Mitchell, I'll let you start since you've probably had the most game time with it.
Yes, I decided screw ranks. I'm gonna play on the PBE, and I did
That's
not
smart.
make it out of gold. That's fine.
That's all right.
That's
all right.
Let's see. Items are very broken. Yes, mythic items are really strong. I think certain mythic items stand out like really above the others. All 3 lethality mythics are insane. They're cheaper than most of the other mythics at 3,200 gold, and you just one-shot people. And they're really strong at killing people. I think Eclipse is the standout where you're going to see assassins and non-assassins build it because of how powerful the item is. It's lethality, it's Omnivamp, which is just a ton of healing, and it's like percent health. It gives you a shield, and it gives you move speed. So you thought Phase Rush was broken, right? You
Oh,
buy this
gosh.
item, you get a free Phase Rush, you get a shield, you get healing, you get
Oh my gosh.
max percent health H damage. It's on a 6-second cooldown for melees, right?
Oh,
It's I've been playing it on like assassins like Zed, Kiana. I've been playing it on junglers like Lee Sin and Graves. I've been playing on top laners like Darius, Riven, Aatrox, Aurelia. You can
Oof.
play that shit on anybody, and
Dang.
you will win
Wow.
1v1s
Wow.
against
I've
anybody.
already decided the first game I play tomorrow is going to be Eclipse Ezreal. So
Yes, it's probably good. Let's be honest, it's
I
probably
know
good.
WQ procs it.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
mean,
gosh.
auto procs it. You breathe on somebody, it procs it. Like it's.
Yep.
I think it's a very overtuned item, unexpectedly, and I think a lot of people. I don't know. I've watched some streams, and people aren't that excited about it. They're more excited about like,
Duskblade.
the Dustblade. Yeah, the invisibility is so crazy, right? It's like, well, you actually have to like kill somebody and survive in the fight to get multiple invisibility procs. But what if you just never die because
Yeah.
you're omnivamping?
Yeah.
That
I
sounds
think,
nuts.
yeah, I can come back because I have a lot to say. You guys can say other stuff too.
Well,
if you
I
guys
mean,
got
I just want
points.
to get kind of your insights on, because some of the mythics give like a special ability now, and like, how do you think that changes up the game? For example, I've just off the top of my head, someone like an Ashe or a Jinx can buy an item that gives them a dash now,
Yes.
and so it almost changes. You're adding basically another kind of skill to a champ that shouldn't have that skill or wasn't meant to have that skill. Do you think that's healthy? Or, I mean, what do you guys say? I think it's cool. I think it's cool, but yeah, like a champion like Ashe, like her inherent weakness is that she doesn't have that kind of mobility, right? But she can keep her distance, and positioning is key there. So let me get your thoughts on that, because there's a couple of items that have different things that they can do, and I don't know if that's inherently a good thing, but let me hear what y'all think.
So my main issue with a lot of these items is, for example, what you just said. You're giving champions a counter to their counterplay,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them is more balanced than others because some of them have like a 90-second cooldown, which I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Does ability haste work on items as well, or is that item haste or something?
I'm not sure.
Item haste affects the item cooldowns, so that's
Okay.
Cosmic
Okay.
Insight and Ingenious Hunter. But that's it. Those are the only two.
Is that just actives or is it passives as well?
Both.
Okay, because I mean, if you look at, I'll always go back to the Fiddlesticks example, right? Where the only counterplay really to Fiddlesticks is warding,
Yeah.
but he has a
Yeah.
15-second cooldown on pink wards that he can put down infinitely and has no limit to.
It's a sweeper and a pink
So-
ward. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty broken.
Exactly. So there's really no counterplay to it. So when you give a champion like Ashe, who's supposed to be immobile, basically another flash except it does damage,
Yeah.
or you give a champion like Zed, whose weakness is tanks. Oh well, now he can one-shot tanks as well. It's
Yeah.
I don't like that. And I think
Yeah, it does sound
I
a
think
little
tanks
weird.
are gonna be the class that get hit the hardest here.
Yeah, they're dead. They're so
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, what I was gonna add to that is like I think this is really exciting in the sense that this was like when they reworked Masteries, where I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like this is gonna change up how we play. In reality, the way the balance, and because the champ pool's so big at this point, I think what's gonna happen is there's gonna be like 5 or 6 really broken items on 5 or I guess 10 or 15 broken characters, and they're gonna like the game will morph around them, and then they'll have to nerf them into the ground, and it's gonna become
And then
like
they'll switch.
neutered items in about 3 months.
Yeah.
But ideally, if somehow if they get this balance right, ideally what it means is that you'll have a lot more meaningful choices, right? Like you can build X mythic item or Y mythic item, and it's a playstyle option. I think that players
think
like
that was their
Power of
intention.
Evil will probably have a blast building this shit, but like, a lot of people are just gonna pick the most broken thing. Like my brother saw that item that was like, what is it, less health, more damage, and he mains Tryndamere as a one trick in like high plat, and I'm like, oh god, he's gonna
LDR.
hit diamond for the first time. I hate it.
Yeah.
Gourd drinkers, that one. But
Yeah, I saw that item. I'm like,
Oh.
did they forget that Tryndamere exists? I don't know.
yeah, but you don't. I don't think that's the item Gourd you want to build, because you want to build probably one of the crit mythics. on
Yeah, you
Tryndamere
probably
is my
would,
guess.
but like,
Yeah.
it would be funny because he
Yeah.
sometimes switches it up with like full lethality Tryndamere.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
Just for me,
Tryndamere, you
just
can
for-
build what you want on that champion.
Yeah.
That character is just
Remember when full AP
hilarious.
Trynd was the best thing in the game?
Oh yes,
Oh my god.
that was
that
not
character
balanced.
needs a rework. I
Yeah.
hate playing against it, which is why we have him drafted first.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like the ideas. I think this is good for the health of the game in the sense that it'll keep things fresh. But we're almost certainly going to get some of the most disgusting, like OP dumb build with dumb character combos we'll ever have seen in the history of League. And
You
I
know-
lived through like League of Cleavers and bunch of season 2 BS, so it's gonna be funny, but don't play ranked at the beginning if it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
unstable
Please
in
don't.
norms. I'm just
Oh, you know it's gonna
Oh,
I
happen.
beg you.
Unless you
do
take
play
advantage
ranked to
of
make
it,
easier for
I
me,
guess-
Yeah,
but,
take
like,
advantage of it.
Yeah, unless you know something OP and like take
yeah,
advantage
if your
of
one
it.
trick fits an item perfectly, go for it.
It's called.
to you.
I'm gonna abuse the crap out of Eclipse Graves and just climb Elo so fast, guys. Like you guys have no idea how broken that shit is.
I think the
I
biggest
literally don't know what
issue-
it does other than what you explained.
I'ma
so I
try it.
agree.
my biggest issue with this kind of idea is they're trying to make it so items are your build isn't the same every game, right?
Mhm.
They want to
Mhm.
make it so different games you build different items, but in an ecosystem like League that doesn't really work
Yeah.
because that would mean that they all have to be at the same power level, right?
Yeah.
Which is not how League has ever worked. There's
No.
always something that's better than another. And I think that is another issue that they have with the season is they're just throwing a bunch of stuff they have to make for it to be what they want. They have to make it all balanced the
Yeah.
same.
I agree.
which
Yeah, and I
is
think they're
not
gonna.
doable.
I think more importantly, you know, one thing that I'm not so good at that I need to do more often is check items frequently, like what people have, because like I said, you're gonna have an Ashe who has this mythic, and then all of a sudden you think you got him, and they start dashing, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, oh, I should have checked that item. Kind of like, did they have stopwatch, right? Like, it's going to be more
Yeah.
important now than ever to make sure you're checking items because, especially if the goal is that they want you to build different things, different games, you might see, like you said, what Kevin was saying, different combos, different builds, and it's going to be that more important to treat every game differently and pay attention to what's happening. Of course, this could all be wrong, and there'll be a meta, and people buy the same stuff over and over again. That could happen. But for now, it's just going to be a hodgepodge of stuff. So make sure you're reading the items carefully
Yeah.
and know what they do, because otherwise you may be surprised. You know, because champs are going to be doing some weird things that they're not technically supposed to do. So,
I mean, one thing to keep in mind also, like if we're done with the item topic, is like the state we're in for items like is a little boring, sure, but it's taken like over half a decade to balance items to this point. We've introduced like 1 or 2 items and like added and cut stats for years just to get to this like clean balance where like most items make sense. Like Leandries is a new tech, I guess, but besides that, like everything's just been kind of moved up and down a little bit for a long time. So this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
They're going to mess up, and keep that in mind. Like, I think they are doing this knowing that they're going to mess up, and they're going to try to figure it out from like how the big
Oh,
player
gosh.
base evens out. It might be really cancer, or it might be hilarious. I don't know. It could.
I
be
bet
both.
you they have a chrono shift or chrono break thing where they're like, you know what? It's a complete disaster. We're going back to how it was.
We'll go back to season 6.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
forget it. Speaking of that, real side tangent before we
Bring me
get
my
more into
feral
stuff.
player back.
But you know, there's a developer that's making. I don't even know if this is attached to Riot. They're bringing back.
not.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to get shut down.
It's independent.
Yeah, but they're building it where you could play League like how it was in season 1 or 2 or something like that, and
Yep.
it's pretty crazy. But I don't know if I don't know if that's gonna last or if Riot actually embraces that. But
Well,
interesting.
Riot isn't Blizzard, so it might actually last. Do you guys
That'd be
remember
crazy.
Nestorius? Do you guys anybody know who Nestorius is? Nestorius was these German dudes. They created the classic World of Warcraft server.
oh yeah,
And they
yeah,
had people play on it for free and stuff. I
Mhm.
played on it.
yeah.
And Blizzard came down, shut
remember
it down,
that, yeah.
destroyed it, annihilated it. They had the infamous quote at BlizzCon. One of the developers says, "You guys don't know what you want. You guys don't want to
Yes,
play
I
Classic."
remember
And
that.
everyone was like, I don't think you should have said
Oh,
that.
gosh.
Yeah.
And now they have
Or
WoW
two later, They
Classic.
come out
Yeah.
WoW Classic, and it's just
That's really what they wanted to do. That's
Yeah.
all it was. They wanted to release it themselves, which is why I hope that Riot doesn't do this, because I think that's something that I think a lot of us have been wanting to do. I've been wanting to play Old Akali. Just because, like,
Old Akali was one of my favorite dumb characters.
yes,
It just
I
felt
want that.
hilariously-
Mine was Urgot. Mine was
Oh, old Urgot was also funny. My brother
Old
would
Urgot
play
was
it for
cancer.
old Poppy. Old Poppy, one shot Poppy build. That was
Please,
God, it was
no.
also cancer.
Oh
That's
my
what he lived
gosh.
for.
God.
God,
H-
no, you're giving me
APE?
flashbacks, Kevin.
Oh no. There's.
Oh,
I don't
God,
want to go
no,
back.
I
Jana,
hated
who has like
Poppy.
no stats, and it comes to the 80 carry, and 80 carry is like, what's the counterplay? There's literally none.
I
There
don't
isn't.
want
You
to
couldn't
go back.
CC her or damage her, and she would just ult your Nami, who couldn't do anything because she missed her bubble 4 seconds ago.
I
I
love
don't-
it.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
I don't
mean,
want to go back.
It'd probably
Here's
be
the
fun.
leaks
It'd
out.
probably be fun for like a week, and then you're like, "Oh God, this is terrible."
I don't want.
There's a reason why the patch is like
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
It's like Earth, okay?
Yeah.
Like you play it, it's fun, and then you don't want to go back.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
want to go back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I think
Okay.
before we move on, I would like to talk a bit more about items.
Yeah, go for it.
Just so our viewers aren't like disenfranchised. The 80 carry mythic that has a dash, it's called Gale Force. It's probably the worst of the three.
Okay.
Let me just be
Yeah,
clear.
for
It
sure.
has the lowest stats. Yes, you get the dash. It's not very long and it's not super fast. You have to predict skill shots with it.
Okay.
You can't reaction skill shots super well. Like if there's an
It's
Ash
not like
arrow,
Protobelt.
yeah, it's not like Protobelt. If there's an
Okay.
Ash arrow, you have to predict it because the hitbox is so big, you're gonna get hit by it anyways if you try to reaction dash with it, especially in NA at 60 ping. I think Immortal Shield Bow is gonna be the big one, right? I think that's the one where everyone's gonna be like, you get this one,
Yes.
you got lifesteal, you get a shield, you can actually duel people at one item as an 80 carry.
Hmm.
You have attack speed,
Yes.
AD, and lifesteal, and a shield, all in one item. It's the dream.
That's cool.
So I think that those are the big winner. That's the big winner of the preseason change is that 80 carries can build this item now, and they can be a real threat at one item.
Yeah,
So
that's
because
pretty
before
cool.
you had to wait 2 items or be a blade user, right?
Yeah.
You either build blade
Or
or you're screwed.
realistically, like basically 3 items for a lot of characters. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean 2-ish.
Yeah.
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 Like if you were 3 items is when you became a character, but before that it was probably the worst ADC has been in the recent last half of the decade.
Yeah. Unless you're like specifically on like 1 or 2 80 carry champions, right? Like
Yeah,
Caitlyn,
which is the only
which
reason
is-
why they were viable.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I will say also, don't get discouraged when you hear tanks are bad. Tank champions are bad. The tank items are not bad. All right.
Hmm.
Let's just be clear about that one. Sunfire, the new Sunfire item, it does a lot of damage. Right. It's you get the Sunfire passive, but then it actually ramp ups and stacks, and now it procs double on your auto attacks. So you're getting like double Sunfire cape damage on your auto attacks. Like, don't be surprised at the beginning of the season if you see random like Katarinas and Rengars building Sunfire full tank and one-shotting you. Do not be surprised. That is a thing I saw a lot on the
Anything
PB.
new, but
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's gonna have to be like if you're a low cooldown, no mana champion like Riven, like Rengar, Katarina, this stuff, you can build Sunfire Cape and Titanic Hydra and like Blade of the Rune King and just start one-shotting people and being invincible. So that's another thing to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about preseason or anything otherwise? This is it for technically the season 2 of our podcast. We've gone the whole year, man. It's been quite a journey. We'll have episodes here and there, if anything spicy drops, but I mean, as far as competitive goes, we got a little bit of a break until the next split. But is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we wrap it up? You guys good? Maybe
preseason, don't look to pros for builds. Do make your own fun.
make your own
Yeah.
fun.
I
Good.
found out
Actually,
Hail of Blades
for
Caitlyn
sure.
is broken 2 days before the season ended.
Oh my god.
Read
It
the
actually
items.
is-
God.
I gotta read the items.
I
That's
literally
what I gotta
randomly said, you know what? I want to try Hail of Blades Caitlyn. This sounds good, and it was broken as hell,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
nobody plays it.
I tried it in ARAM. It was really good. I went like
I-
14 and 2 or something.
I will say as a caveat, don't look to pros per se, but look to one tricks to some extent to get some
Yeah.
Sure.
inspiration. If you don't
Yeah.
know where to start,
I'm not saying don't look at them at all, but I'm saying try your
Yeah,
own things
try to
yourself.
think, Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
specific pros who will try different things, and then those are the ones you could probably follow along. But there are some who
Yeah.
are like double will not give you anything revolutionary.
Yeah, that's true.
Anytime this. Oh god. Real quick, did we discuss if double is playing?
Yeah, I think a couple podcasts
That was
ago.
the last podcast, right?
Yeah.
The rumor is he's off TSM.
It's the
That's
rumor.
crazy. But I don't know where he's going.
If we get confirmation of if he's off or subbed, then we should talk about it. 'cause
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely.
To me, a huge deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah,
we
for
got
sure.
Not
6
playing
days.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got,
He's definitely
we got
not playing Academy. He would sooner move to a different region than play Academy.
Hey, well,
Free
maybe
agency is
in the
next week.
meantime, if we don't have any shows, we could just play League together and wreck some stuff up with these new mythic items.
Stream it.
Make some content,
down.
stream it, be fun. But yeah, anything else? You guys got anything else? Good.
Ravenous, the Hydra items, Tiamat,
Yep.
works for range champions.
What?
So if you're Vayne and you want wave clear, you can build Tiamat, and you will get
Oh
AOE
no,
auto
is this
attack.
mid lane
That is
Ezreal all over
interesting.
again?
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
I
what?
Oh no,
I was
mid
thinking
lane
top
Ezreal,
lane.
not again.
Oh
I was
my
thinking top
gosh.
lane Vayne.
So just can't keep going there.
I
Yeah,
know.
Like
as-
a restriction from moving there in the beginning 5 minutes. of the
Yeah,
game.
please. Seriously.
Also, one more final thing: the support mythics are also busted.
Are they?
Don't be surprised if your
Support
top
mythics?
laner
Oh my
randomly
god.
builds a support mythic. Because
is gonna
they
be
are
goofy,
really
man.
strong.
This is gonna be such a
Um,
goofy preseason.
They cost 2,700 gold, and you usually have to be with an ally. But something like Shurelia's, if you proc Shurelia's and you have allies around, all of their auto attacks deal 60 to 100 bonus damage
God.
on targets that are hit by Shurelia's. It is a lot of damage in the early game. We're talking like
Oh, jeez.
that's 300 bonus damage if you're in a team fight, right? In a 5v5 at Dragon. So these and the support mythics, they spike earlier, right? So you're gonna be like, let's say the support randomly gets a kill, they're gonna have their mythic before you, and they will beat you. They
When
will
have
beat
I
you.
heard this story. Support items in top lane. Or in
Yes.
mid lane. Support items not in support.
Yep,
Ah.
yep. The support mythics are very like, if you also there's a support mythic that heals people if you don't have a heal on you. You could just be attacking somebody, you'll heal your teammates. Watch like Katarina mid with that support item and just
Yeah,
like
that's insane.
go in and team fight. Like, there's some really crazy items. Don't be surprised. Don't flame your teammates. They're probably just trying something that's probably better than you expect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of, just remember now is testing ground. Don't be afraid to try things. It's preseason. I already see people on Reddit going, how many items will Ezreal break this preseason? Or how many
A lot,
items will
yeah,
Yi
a lot.
break this season? So, you never know what you're going to see. Enjoy it, have fun, test things out. But I think it's going to be a great preseason. I'm excited to get into it. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I want to thank my co-hosts again for being here all season, all split. It's just been a fun time. Thank you so much for doing these shows. It's been a blast. So Kevin, Mitchell, Alistair, thank you very much for always sharing your insights. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at the allinpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at the allin. In fact, if you want to play some games with us, I think that'd be pretty cool too. So let us know on the comments or anything like that. We're all in the NA server. So unfortunately you have to be in, this awesome region that we are in, but hey, hit us up. We can get a game. We can lose together. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Enjoy your preseason. Enjoy that climb for this coming ranked season. But until next time, guys, we'll see you. Try not to be too toxic. That's it for this episode. Peace.